working with folks for 18 months. And then once they reach like a 5-year benchmark, they're considered in long-term recovery and they can maintain that recovery. The numbers of going back to use drastically reduce when you get to that point. The populations that we're serving are complex. They have complex needs. Their stabilization time is much longer. So we have clients that have stayed with us for 7 years. We are housed here with the Houston Police Department. Good to see you again. Our operations for our sobering center are below us. We opened in 2013. We've served over 35,000 people. And we learned from our clients. So 90% of the folks that come through our sobering center, they come for a short-term stay through law enforcement diversions. We only see them one time, but 10% cycle through on a regular basis. And so we just developed a recovery program for that population. Once we got those two pieces in place, we started saying, who else is seeing this population in the community? What other stakeholders are working with them? And so we partner with the county, we partner with the city, health department, and then we partner with the hospitals. And we work to stabilize all the folks that are cycling through our system. So we're in Harris County Jail, we're in the diversion courts, we're in adult probation. We're working with Harris County Public Health now on an opioid intervention in the jail. And then we work with the Houston Health Department and the Houston Fire Department on an opioid initiative called Frontlines. And we send our advocates to 36 different hospitals for folks that have been diverted for opioid use disorders, opioid overdoses by EMS, and we meet with them there. And we work with the Harris Health System, working to help them manage the frequent clients that are going through their emergency department. And we're doing street outreach as well with the downtown and midtown management districts with our pit van. We cast this huge net. We see it systemically. When you see things systemically, you see where it works, you see where it doesn't work, and then you see the opportunities and you see the barriers. And what we're starting to do now is we're starting to try to reduce the redundancy of folks cycling through services. And when we do that, we reduce the waste, and then we get rid of the collateral costs that this population creates, which is really, really high. When it comes to opioid use disorder, I looked at the data before I came here on the Frontlines project, and I've been involved in substance use my entire life and my professional career, and I was floored because what we're seeing in that data is an age range of 14 to 91. And when I saw a 91-year-old female overdosing in her home, I was like, what is going on here? And there's a significant number of senior citizens that are overdosing in their homes. And so what's so important is for us to reframe how we see people with substance use issues. And so the industry is rapidly changing. I can't tell you the new formulations that come out, the new combinations of drugs that come out, how people use it. And so we are so grateful for this money that's coming in. I can't tell you, substance use money comes in with a lot of restrictions, but it seems that this money that's coming in, we will, as a population in Texas, be able to define how those funds are distributed. And it's my hope and the hope of the stakeholders that we're involved with, that the council that you're putting together to manage the funds, that we have stakeholder information and involvement in the say of the decision making of how this money goes. So if we see it differently, if we reframe it as a chronic health issue, and through the power of collaboration, we learn, we grow, we get smarter, we do it better. And with these opportunities, we have an exciting opportunity ahead of us. So it's a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jarvis. Now I'll introduce Associate Deputy Attorney General for Civil Litigation, Paul Singer. Any opioids-related questions he can answer? We're just going to take 2 or 3 questions, and then we'll wrap it up.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to take any questions.
Could you very briefly talk about opioids
So we certainly have seen an increase in opioid abuse in Texas, just like the rest of the country has. This past year, we saw an almost 32% increase in opioid overdose deaths, which is kind of shocking considering the efforts that have been put in place over the past several years to both try to educate everyone about this crisis and the dangers of opioid abuse, and also all of the abatement strategies that have been put in place. And it really underscores the value of this settlement that General Paxton is joining today, because it's going to bring money into the communities right now. So cities and counties that want to participate can get access to these funds and are going to be able to put the kind of programs in place that you just heard about that can make a real difference in this crisis.
Is there a timing to when we'll receive the funds?
So money will start flowing out of this settlement in the early part of next year. But obviously, there's a number of factors that have to go into making that happen, and there's a number of factors that go into how much comes to Texas. And the most important one for both of those is whether cities and counties in Texas join into this deal. That we only get the money and we only get the treatment efforts if cities and counties participate in this settlement. And so that's why we're here, to try to encourage everyone to join, stand behind General Paxton, and get on board with this deal.
I know Attorney General Paxton has been working for years on this, so I'm just wondering if you can explain the process of how this started. So there were smaller stakeholders involved who were suing or still suing, and so you decided to take the initiative, create a settlement. So now you're opting, or you're allowing other people to opt in to participate. Can you just describe what the impetus behind this was and what the crisis was you're seeing, and how, I'm assuming that there is no other settlement like this that's ever happened before in Texas or in any other state, so could you speak to
No,
that?
that's a great point, and yes, happy to. This is nationally the largest state-driven settlement, right behind the tobacco settlement from decades ago. This $26 billion deal represents a massive settlement unlike any other. It is absolutely historic. And it really started when General Paxton came into office and saw this opioid crisis and saw this uptick in lawsuits, as you mentioned, that started to happen throughout the country, where cities, counties, states all started bringing action against opioid manufacturers, distributors, pharmacies, everyone in the supply chain for their conduct that led to this crisis. General Paxton recognized at a very early point that the only way we were going to abate this crisis was to get everybody together and try to find a way to fund abatement programs for the future. So he worked with his colleagues throughout the country, pulled together a group, and was able to negotiate this historic settlement that has the opportunity to deliver the funding that we need for these treatment programs.
Hey, tell them about the bankruptcy concerns if we don't get this done.
No, that's a great point as well. Right now, we are active participants in 2 bankruptcies in the opioid space with Purdue Pharma and Mallinckrodt, and those bankruptcies are a cautionary tale. Any of these companies that have to go to trial and facing the weight of these thousands and thousands of cases throughout the country can very easily be put into bankruptcy. And when they go into bankruptcy, everybody loses. We're not going to have the kind of funding available to us that we need. And the citizens end up losing because we're not going to be able to get the treatment out that we need to see take place. And so our encouragement of cities and counties to join is really driven by this desire to keep them out of bankruptcy and make sure that money can flow into the community where it needs to go.
So if Texas hadn't taken the lead, it's possible this could not have happened.
I absolutely believe General Paxton led this effort and got this historic result. I think that is a very true statement, that without General Paxton's leadership, this deal couldn't have happened.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the clearinghouse is or what that would look like?
Sure. So the clearinghouse is going to be created as part of the distributor settlement as an independent third-party body that's going to receive all of the information about pills shipped into areas down to the pharmacy level. And the point of this was because it's solving a problem that we recognized very early on that the distributors had, which is that they can't share information with each other about where they're shipping pills. So pharmacies are able to purchase from one distributor, switch to another, and it won't raise any concern or red flags. This clearinghouse is going to function as a way to pool all that information, identify problems quickly and early, and then force the companies to actually take action as soon as they identify a problem.
We'll open it up for one more question. If not, only once, going twice. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Singer. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. And if you have any questions about this issue, you can go to our website, and you will have more information on that.
For civil